First Watch with Sheriff Mark Daniels on KWCD Bisbee Sierra Vista, hosted by Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
And welcome to your Friday. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
Well, let's start with girls soccer.
ALA, girls varsity high school soccer. We had 2 games this week. We've won both of them, which is really good as we move into the playoffs here. And in fact, I got to tell you a little story. We went to last night to Phoenix, played at ASU High School. It's a prep high school up at ASU downtown campus, up by Chase Field. And I'm an ASU guy, for those that already know that or don't know that. And so all the administration, all the teachers wear ASU. They got Sparky on their stuff. Can you imagine going to work every day and wear your? I know it's going to hurt being a Wildcat. You know, I know. So I was kind of hitting to the administration about, hey, I'm an ASU guy. You know, I mean, I love your apparel. They didn't give it up. Let me just say, they would not give me no apparel. But so we went out there and we beat them 7-0. So we took our revenge on the field because and my kids were like, Coach, we're U of A kids. And I said, I know. That's why you go to schools. You get an education. You learn what ASU is all about. And then you get to go to ASU. And then right across from the field, there's a U of A medical facility.
Yes.
You know, our downtown campus, a really beautiful facility. And they're like, Coach, look at U of A's in town. I said, that's a condemned building, kids. That's a condemned building. So I was giving them so much. But either way, ALA, they're sitting well. They're sitting first in their conference, 6th in state. And I'll put the invite out early. Next Thursday, we have a home game, Keith Hampton Field. We're taking on the number 2 team in the state, which is a vital game. That team's undefeated. So we're going to see if we can put one loss in their record book. But, again, come on, it's 4:30 at Keith Hampton Field, a week from, or this coming Thursday. I think it's Thursday. So a week from
yesterday.
This coming Thursday. Yeah, week from yesterday. Thanks, Grady. Boy, my mind's going back in reverse here. So.
It's because you've been in Phoenix, and that's what happens, brain drain with all the ASU stuff. But you were in Phoenix for the expo.
I was up there Tuesday, too, for the Border Security Expo. And the first time I've attended this, I believe, maybe I went years ago, I don't know, but it's the first time I really embraced there, put it that way. So they asked me to be one of the keynote speakers on a border panel. It was really nice, but there's 2,000 folks from all over the country, Border Patrol. So I know where all the retired Border Patrol go. They go work for these corporations, but very nice. And I know they had the Secretary Noem, Homeland Security, spoke. Tom Homan was there. He actually went to the Capitol and spoke at the floor of the Capitol, and I went over there. A handful of us sheriffs got invited to that, went over and did that, and a couple other meetings. But it was just nice to see the engagement and see what's going on. Border apprehensions are down 94%. They talked about that, and he talked about the kids. They're really putting a lot of effort in finding these 300,000 kids to ensure their safety. And on the humanitarian side, that was brought up numerous times. But again, I know there's people that don't like this administration, but at the end of the day, whether you like them or not, I mean, we have a border that really has made a difference. Now, is drugs still coming across? Are people being trafficked? We still have smuggling. We still have all the issues going on, money laundering. Of course we do. That ain't going to go away. But we're so far ahead than where we've been, and that's where I'm excited. And I'm waiting to see our quarterly stats. I haven't seen them from our sheriff's office to see where we're at, but something tells me that's our stats will mirror what the federal government's got to. So good conference. I'll just say that.
Last week was Cars for Kids, and I know we wanted to try to break some records. How'd we do?
We did well. We broke some records, and that was, so we raised for the kiddos and our outreach programs. We raised over $75,000. That's I have seen the final, but I know that's the number. And again, so many sponsors out there. You're going to see an article coming out in the paper thanking all our sponsors. We need to put it up on our Facebook once we get that. And long story short is, we couldn't do it without the community. We couldn't do it without the sponsors. And we couldn't do it without the car enthusiasts, the ones that come visit, and the ones that shine the metal and bring them out for the people can see. So great show. It was great just talking to people all day long. And by the end of the day, because we go down there at 5:30 in the morning, out at the house at 5:30, and 5:45 we're setting up, and then it takes about 3 months to put the show on. And then by 4 o'clock, you're like, and Mother Nature came in at about 3 o'clock, started spitting rain on us, and car enthusiasts and us that have cars don't like rain. And so I stayed in the parking lot till like 5:30. I'm like, I can't drive my car in rain. It's got to wait till it dries. I mean, because they're too hard to clean. But either way, it was just a great show. And thanks to everybody for showing up and supporting that. And thanks to our sponsors.
And so when you were out there, who won the air conditioning unit, the HVAC system?
that went for $10,000, Carol, and which what a boost! Just 10,000, and thanks to Berg Enterprises, and thanks to Right Way for both of them, Tyler and Beth Johnston to own Bergs, and Mike from Right Way, and Carissa, all them. That that was up to a $20,000 HVAC system. Good deal. So think about it. You got a $20,000 installation, you got it for half price. I mean, plus dollar to dollar, that 100% goes to the kids. So all of it, whether it's a $100 check, 10,000 auction item, whatever it may be, at the end of the day, dollar for dollar, it went to the kids. So we're excited. I know Jay from the Boys and Girls Club and his staff over there, the 70% of the recipients of that. 70% of that money goes to them. And then 30% goes back to the Fraternal Order of Police that puts this show on for the kids, for their outreach programs, their scholarships, and things like that. So, again, it's a win-win. Thanks you to this community. It's great.
And so thanking people, we have a lot of weeks coming up. So recognition weeks. This week is Evidence Custodian, and we have a week. And we have several people. We have 3 of them within our own organization that do an amazing job processing evidence, making sure that they do crime scenes. They are just everywhere all the time. And, you don't think about the things that you don't know. And so we want to recognize these people and tell them how much we appreciate them.
We do. They're the supporting cast that makes it happen. We can collect evidence all day long, but if there's not a person in the preservation mode of it, or the processing mode, we're in trouble. So thanks to KK, thanks to Ursula, thanks to Roy for what they do every day. If you're listening to the show, and I'm sure they are, they tune in every Friday, it is the fact that thank you for what they do. And to all our property evidence custodians around the country, thanks for what they do.
And next week is exciting because we have Animal Control Officer Week. And again, another facet of you see these people and you don't think about them until you need them. And then sometimes, they have to deal with people who are not happy because of animal situations, and they are amazing. I can't believe that we have such good personnel.
We do, and to all our ACOs, Al, who works on USDA side of it too, on the feral side that's attached to us. They go out there and you hear them check on in the morning. They'll take 5 calls right off the screen. I'll take these 5. I mean, they just work their tails off, and they do. It's an animal control. I can use that story. The tails it's a very good complimentary thought, but it is the fact that they work so hard, but they're headliners. Think about it. They go out there and they save dogs, they save cats, they help animals. Neglect that in the other way where we don't have that response, they call those headlines. I mean, look at what we had with Commander Bradshaw and I, with the dog we had this week. And, I mean, we're heading to get our morning beverage, which I always buy. I just want to make a note of that if Kenny's listening. Where we're heading, and here comes this dog running down the road, Warren Cutoff Road there in Bisbee, running down the road with a leash on him. The leash is dragging on the road. So you think, is the owner have a medical problem? Is he laying along the road? She laying along the road? So I stopped, and there's a ball on Kenny's door from the Christmas parade. And so I grabbed the ball thinking, okay, let me get the dog. Because, sometimes they're hard to get. So I come around the back, I go, where'd this dog go? I look around and come, Kenny, and he's in my seat, the passenger seat, sitting there like a human, like, let's go, get in the back. And so I got in the back. What are you going to do? And he had a little collar on. And and this is just a safety tip. That's how we knew to get him home. He had a safety collar. We called the owner, and the owner's like, yeah, where is he? So we took him home. And I sat in the back, and then he's just the coolest dog. They just moved here. They were new to the area, and they were looking for their dog. And so he got to ride in the patrol car and drink my Polar Pop. So I'm proud of that dog.
And next week is also Dispatcher Week.
Dispatch Week. I mean, and we had a meeting with CCOM yesterday with Director Tammy Jo, who's going to be on the show here in just a minute, who's been the glue to put that all back together and just take it to the next level. So Tammy Jo, big shout out. I know she's going to be on the show in a minute to talk more about it, but I just can't say enough about our communicators. We are so above we've ever been in dispatch. In my 4 decades, this is the best dispatch center we've ever had. It's hard when you bring multi-agencies together and give up independent cultures. Think about that. We gave up our Service PD, gave up theirs, and many others to have this consolidated dispatch center for the good of the people. It's efficient. It's effective. In fact, we're saving money. But last not least, the standard of dispatch, and I'll let Tammy Jo speak on that. She's the expert. But the standard of dispatch is at a whole new level, from the automated systems within the medical, all that. I'm just so impressed. And when I hear, CCOM here, and I hear negative, there's always going to be that story. But let me tell you, the facts vary anything you want to say on that. So I'm very excited about that, and kudos to all our dispatchers, communicators.
And another shout out goes to our search and rescue. They've been crazy busy this past week. Like they typically are, but they've just been crazy busy this past week.
They have. And let me just go back. I'll tell a little side story. So the Border Security Expo, excuse me, I got home like midnight last night. They called me and said, hey, we're going to do a little raffle or not, some little fundraiser up there for the 2,000 people who are there. We want to give it to a recipient here in Arizona. Any ideas, Sheriff? And I said, yes, let's give it to our search and rescue team. So they did the little fundraiser. I don't know what it's all about, but our team worked with them. Our search and rescue leadership worked with them, and so they got. I saw last night. So they got some money from that expo. So there was a positive to that too. But yeah, they've been busy this week. Every time I turn my alert system on, there they are getting toned out to go do something, go out and rescue, and you never know what's going to happen when you have these rescues. I mean, you have somebody straight, you have somebody missing, you have somebody intentionally running from people. You just never know. But let me tell you, at the end of the day, they're bringing it home. They're hitting home runs in the ballpark. So it's that season too, by the way. So go Cubs. Sorry,
Yankees. You did say Yankees. I heard that right.
They're too far away to even recognize,
I think
Carol.
not.
So, but go Cubbies. They're actually doing well. Do you see that? And everybody predicted the Diamondbacks. Did you see that? They've spent huge money on salaries thinking we're going to do it. And they're doing all right. But they're not the Chicago Cubs. Cubs will play great the first 50% of the season. We're all going to be proud. So enjoy it, people, if you're a Cubs fan, because that's when they give it up the second half. Because they said, okay, we've done what we want to do.
Because the Yankees will say, okay, we're tired of playing.
Going back to that New York, man. Just like your Juve. I don't get it. So.
Law Magazine was here, and we continue to have media still interested in the border issues, but Law Magazine was here.
They were. They interviewed, they wrote, they came out with us. I know we're getting a lot of media coming out. CBS News just called me this week, too. They're going to be doing a story and getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of attention on, hey, can we come down and see? And I said, yes, it's not like it was. And people ask, well, what are you going to do now? We're going to keep doing what we do. If we don't hold sustainment doors, guess what happens? They will swing back open. We want to continue to maintain what we've done, grow upon it, and so they want to see that. And I'm proud of what we're doing. Our partnership with the Department of Defense is here. All the things that all these partners and influences that we've put together from the state. I heard the other day there's like $15 million for border initiatives by the state legislatures. So we're excited about that too, and because it allows us to continue to do what we do. We can't say, well, the border's down 94%, our job's done, let's just turn our back on it, because we will face that reality again in the near future. Because as politics shifts in D.C., so does the border. And so we're going to continue to do what we do. But, yeah, we love the media coming down here and telling our story.
And so we also had our criminal interdiction team, the CENTA, that did search warrants yesterday in the Douglas area. So they served 6 search warrants, and they got 2 undocumented people that they arrested as a result of that, but it's an ongoing investigation. So you can see it's still going.
Well, it is, and these guys are doing amazing work. It won't stop, and everybody thinks, well, we're down 94%, nothing going on, nothing to see here. Border crime will always be border crime. And again, but it just shows that we value our teams. We value the need to prevent it and continue to bring awareness to it and consequences. And again, yesterday was an example with the regional SWAT team, our regional narcotics, working together in this county to ensure. And every time they do a search warrant, they open a door of an opportunity for something else bigger. And that's the stuff we can't talk about 99% of the time, but it's opening that door. And yesterday was another prime example, and I wish I could tell you more on a lot of these cases. I can't, because they're ongoing, that are way beyond our county, way beyond Arizona, but they're working with our partners. It's great stuff. I'm so proud. Trust me when I say they're doing great work.
And we're continuing to see some scams.
Yeah, they just keep coming, no matter what it is, whether it's the highway tolls. I got like 3 this week on the highway tolls on my government phone, and I paid off. Just kidding. Don't pay that. Please don't pay that. That's scams. They want you to click on that. They want you. I mean, think about it. I mean, they're not going to send. How would they know your cell number? And but we had some new ones this week, Carol.
Yeah. So there was a report of a man who's taking care of his father, and he found that $8,800 was missing. The father had paid it out. There's no way that they're going to get that back.
No.
So he's trying to determine exactly how his father was targeted. But a newer one that has becoming more prevalent, please be careful when you write obituaries for loved ones, because people are scanning through all of that, doing data mining, and they find out when a funeral is going to be. They anticipate that you're not going to be home. So then there's that side of it where they can actually gain entry into your house. They wait till just before. If you put the funeral home's name, they'll call you and pretend to be the funeral home, saying that there's an unpaid bill. They will see somebody passes, and then they're going to make claims that there's, debt that hasn't been paid recently. So they're looking at every single possible angle, and they're so good at that. And people are falling for it. So please just be very careful. And unfortunately, the scumbags have to go to the lowest of the low and hit people when they're talking about funeral planning. And just be safe.
They don't have a heart. The inhumane approaches based on fear. We all know that, based on fear. And I got a call from Washington, D.C., from somebody I work with back there that got a call about, summons, warrant, hey, you got to pay this. Sheriff. And I said, listen, I'm not there. I don't know your background like that, but I can almost promise you that's a scam. And they would kept trying to keep me on the phone. Folks, when they're trying to keep you on the phone, first of all, the government's not going to call you until they have a warrant. They're going to come knock on your door and then show action behind that. But just call us. Please call us. If anything, you get a call that looks wrong, an email, a text, somebody reaching out to you that doesn't seem to call us, let us check into it, and then we'll proceed with you. That way you get the safest route. So be careful on these scams, folks.
And this is really a Sierra Vista Police Department issue, but we want to remind everybody about Fry Boulevard being closed, and everybody just kind of heed the signs and slow down.
And be patient. I know a lot of people are busting through the like Chase Bank there, going through by the Ace parking lot, Valero, you name it, trying to get around this. It's only temporary. Trust me. It's not going to be a long in the dirt. I know the road's been going on for a long time. People are very upset about that, but that's coming. That's coming back, like I said, from Phoenix last night and from soccer. And I saw our deputies working off duty out there with the construction. They're working the night shift, but on the gate, trying to get all that intersection done. So they're coming, and I heard they brought in some more people to help work this project. So here in a couple months, it's all going to be behind us. It's all going to be behind us. But I think it's like 2 weeks maybe on that intersection.
Right.
Isn't it right on that? So they had a pipe there, and what better way to get that pipe fixed now before they pave it? And then you got another issue. So it makes sense what's going on, but I get the frustration. It is kind of a mess, and so we all just need to be a little patient on that.
And one of the things we're facing is fire season. So there's a red flag warning for this weekend. There's high winds that are predicted. There was a fire reported on at Coronado on the border on Wednesday. So, man, please just be safe.
Exactly. I mean, tis the season. It's the spring. It's windy. Trees are blooming. I love when the trees bloom. But long story short is we just need to be careful. We talked about that a couple weeks ago on this show too, and it doesn't take much right now. The heat's getting up there. Let me tell you, it was hot in Phoenix yesterday. Ooh, it's hot. But the bottom line is we're going to see that heat coming very soon on the heels of what's going on throughout the state.
All right, and do you have a stop of the week?
I do, but before I say the stop of the week, I want to give a sad shout-out to Mario Morales. Mario was the chief deputy in Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Office, became a very close friend of all the sheriffs in the state. He was our go-to guy for Santa Cruz County. He passed away on April 7th. And, again, good guy. I mean, just his wife, I talked to his wife a couple of times, and his funeral's next week. And, in fact, at the same time, I'm presenting our budget for our annual budget. So I got to find how I'm going to deconflict this one. But, again, Mario, I mean, we're going to miss you, my friend, and all the Santa Cruz family down there, his law enforcement family, his personal family. God bless y'all, man. Good luck. Rest in peace, Mario.
All right, stop of the week.
Now, stop of the week. And there is a legal message in this, too. So last week, went out and had a soda with J.D. Rottweiler, and as he gets ready to go on his travels here real soon, him and Melanie. So I dropped him off, and then I went over and got gas at Valero. And while I was at Valero, I gassed up, and I'm pulling out of the parking lot, and here comes this car, whips through the pumps, and I hit the road. I'm going about 2 or 3 miles an hour, and just about hits me, goes into a parking lot, and a stall there stops. And so I walked up to address him, and he made the comment to me. I said, listen, I said, we almost hit. You got to slow down. And he made the comment to me. He goes, no crash, no crime. It doesn't work that way. If you almost hit a pedestrian in a parking lot, doesn't mean there's, or in a crosswalk, parking lot, doesn't matter. Reckless driving on private property is a crime. You're not immune to drive crazy in private property. So I explained that to him. He was very non-compliant. It's just something we don't see. He's not a local. Driving, his registration was expired out of California, on and on. And I told him, I said, listen, let me explain the law to you. It was not a cooperative person. But I want to make sure I share it, because he learned this probably the hard way, is the fact that if you're on private property, like Walmart parking lot, Target parking lot, or your own property, you still have due diligence under state law to drive with safe and due regard. You can't drive reckless. You can't drive impaired. That's another one, too, people don't see. I'm on my own property. I can be drunk. No, you can't. Anywhere in the state it says. Now, civil traffic, like registration, people say, well, did you give them a ticket for expired plates? No, because on that, we don't enforce civil law on private property. So kind of a lesson there and stuff. But I will say this to you, and this is another thought. Be compliant. You don't have, people come from different backgrounds, different experience with law enforcement. But one thing we got going for us in Cochise County is you got good cops here. You do, whether it's state, local, federal, our sheriff's deputies. We treat people with respect. And when people challenge us because this guy came from the Midwest. He had a Midwest driver's license, even though he had a California registration. But the bottom line at the end of the day is we're going to treat you with the utmost respect. We're going to try to change your behavior, understand the law. But when you take that away from us, now you're going to see the enforcement come out and stuff. So, again, most cases. So, again, slow down these parking lots, too.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Grady, thanks. Carol, thanks. Everybody have a great weekend. Take care.
And Carol, who's coming in next?
We have Lori Fivecoat from Huachuca City Lions Club.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler, and with us is Carol Kappas and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County. And we have Lori Fivecoat from the Huachuca City Lions Club. Thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me on this morning, Carol. I really appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about Huachuca City Lions Club. We haven't heard a lot about that. So tell us what you're doing, where you're at, and all the things you do to give back to the community.
Okay. So the Lions Club their main focus is on eyeglasses to help out the community. We help get people eyeglass exams or eye exams, and then we have eyeglasses. If we have some in stock that fit their prescriptions, we can give them to them, or we can help them to purchase them. We do several other things for the community. There's a camp that we help out with every summer. It's up in northern Arizona. So different things for the community that we do give back to.
And people know, I would think, that where you're at because you're the yellow building on Huachuca Boulevard, which is also Highway 90, right when you go into Huachuca City. And it's been there for a really long time.
Yes, exactly. You can't miss the yellow building. And there is a sign out there. Unfortunately, our sign is now being blocked by the little pink donation bin for the clothing and stuff. So we're trying to get that moved out. But yeah, it's right there by Mr. Shed.
So you have a couple of events coming up. Tell us what's going on tomorrow.
We do. So tomorrow we actually have our prize bingo going on. It's going to be at 2 o'clock. We have all sorts of gift cards and baskets and stuff we give for the prizes. If you want to come on out, our advance cards, which you can get through today, are 3 for $10, or you can get 3 for $12 at the door. But we have some really good games of bingo on Saturdays and some nice little prizes that we give out in our baskets.
Oh, good. And then Sunday, to follow that up after you win all your prizes.
Sunday, for people that are really hungry, we're going to have our all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast. That's going to start at 8 a.m. and go through 10:30. And adults are $8 at the door. Our advanced sales are $6. And you get all sorts of really good sides with it. It's all being cooked by our Lions Club members and stuff like that. Eggs, fruit, sausage, potatoes, onions, you name it, gravy and biscuits. We're going to have it there for you. It is all you can eat pancakes. We have a good time doing it, and we have a pretty good turnout most of the time. So think about if you're going to come, maybe come a little early to make sure you can get some of that good breakfast.
And so all the funds that you raise, all the money goes back into the organization to help out.
Yes, it does. It goes back in to help out with any repairs or anything we need for our buildings or stuff like that. Also, it goes back to help out with the community and in our objective of helping people with their eyeglasses and stuff like that. So it does come back to a good cause.
Well, how do we get a hold of the Lions Club, or how can the community help you besides going to these events?
Okay. So our President, Christy, if you guys have any questions, you can always give her a call, and she's very happy to answer any questions or get you guys tickets. Her number is 520-508-3120. And you guys can always, we have different mixers and stuff at different times. So you guys are always welcome to come out to any of our mixers that we're going to have. We get them out there and announced. Oh my gosh, announced. So ahead of time, so you guys know that they're coming up, and then you can come and you can meet all of us and kind of get even more information about the Lions Club and what we're all about and what we do. We have a car show that we have in the summertime. In June, we're going to have probably our next bigger mixer, and we're going to have like barbecue and stuff like that for people to eat. So it'll be a nice little, and a guest speaker. So it'll be a nice little event if you guys are interested in coming on out and maybe joining the Lions Club or donating. We have several events going on. We can always use donations for some of that stuff. We're going to have something to do, I'll announce later maybe, about purses and stuff like that. And so if you have some nice used purses you might want to donate for our event, we're always happy to take that kind of stuff. And we do yard sales too. So, but contact Christy if you have any questions or want any information about all of that, and she'll be happy to let you guys know.
Well, Lori, we thank you for coming and talking to us today, and we thank you for what the Lions Club does in our community.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on. We really appreciate the opportunity to get our events out there.
And Carol, who do we have coming up next?
We have the Director of CCOM, Tammy Jo Wilkins.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
First Watch is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County, and thank you so much, Tammy Jo Wilkins, Director of CCOM, for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us about all the new exciting things that are going to be happening next week.
Okay, so next week is National Telecommunications Appreciation Week. And next week, what we're doing is we're celebrating all of our 911 dispatchers in Cochise County. We have put gift bags together for the partner dispatch centers, and we're going to be making those deliveries. They don't know it yet, so they're probably listening, hopefully, that we're going to surprise them. And then we are celebrating the staff at CCOM, the team of 24 individuals that are super dedicated, compassionate, and wonderful to be able to come in and do the job that they do on a daily basis.
And so CCOM, people hear that off and on, and you know we're in a military town, so you hear acronyms all the time. So tell us a little bit about what CCOM does. It's not like, you know, what you see on TV. It's the real deal.
It is. It's interesting. CCOM is the countywide asset, basically. I like to call us the gem in the desert of 911 dispatch center. We take the 911 calls for the entire community except for the Benson and the Douglas areas. They have their own 911 centers. And we put the calls in for service, and we dispatch a variety of different agencies, police and fire, to respond to the community requests. We dispatch currently for 9 law enforcement agencies and 17 fire and EMS, emergency medical services, across Cochise County. And in doing so, we have trained our individuals to use the priority dispatch protocols. So when somebody in the community calls 911, we go through a scripted series of questions to make sure that we get accurate information. It goes into our Spillman CAD system, which everybody has access to, and the first responders responding to whatever incident can get the real-time feeds of the information that we're providing from the person who's calling in.
And so some of the technology upgrades and the new exciting, the big sexy, people can actually text to 911, right?
Yes, text to 911 we've had in the center for about 2 years now. It's starting to get used a little bit more than it has been in the past. It's a great tool if you need to call 911 but you can't speak to us. Or it's a great tool if you are in an area where you don't have good cell reception, but you know a text message will go through. It is an absolute wonderful tool for all of those hard to reach areas and unique scenarios.
And so 2 years ago, you started out with below minimal staffing.
Oh, yeah.
Just growing pains and all of the things that go with that. So you just said you have 24 people right now.
Right.
That's an amazing accomplishment in 2 years. So if somebody wants to join your team, how would they start and what would that look like?
So of the 24, they're full-time, part-time. In that number, I included our records clerk, our background investigator, and our 911 rural addressing coordinator. All of these things are needed for behind the scenes, in addition to being able to take the phone calls and dispatch for services. If anybody is interested in joining us, we will be posting our job out there on the Cochise County Human Resources page here in the future, and going through another hiring process where part of that is some online testing. We need to make sure that you can do some data entry at a significant speed instead of hunt and peck basically on the keyboard. And then we do interviews. We do a first interview and a sit-in. We do an oral board with a panel. We do a very extensive background investigation, public safety sensitive positions require that. Then we do a VSA, voice stress analyst, to make sure that you're not fabricating information in your application process, a psych eval to make sure that you can handle some of the high stress situations that come in on 911, and then a drug and hearing test before you get a hire date. So it's a process, but once you get through the process and you get a start date, we invest in you. We invest in everything that is needed to make you the dispatcher we need you to be to serve our community.
Let's talk a little bit about the non-emergency number, because that's something we really want the public to be aware of. But then also tell us when to call 911 and when to call the non-emergency number.
Sure. So that was an interesting thing for me. I'm watching the numbers for the last couple of years. Last year we received over 185,000 calls to our CCOM center, but only 55,000 of those were 911 calls. Everything else was non-emergency. So our non-emergency number could be anything from somebody needing to speak to a records department at the Wilcox Police Department, or it could be, we do get a lot of emergencies on our non-emergency number because the community thinks that their emergency is not an emergency and they don't want to bother the line because they know that that might be for more priority. Call 911 if you have an emergency. It could be life-threatening. It could be, hey, you need to know that this is going on right now. It could be to notify us of a public hazard. The non-emergency number will still handle your call the same way, but please don't be afraid to dial the 911.
All right, and what is the non-emergency number?
520-803-3550.
And so as part of that, we had a big push to make sure that people knew the non-emergency number and use it. And like you said, if you have an emergency, dial 911. And is there anything else that the community can do to help be better educated, be, helpful to you, understand that when you call in 911, there's a lot of questions that have to be asked, but they're important questions, and they're getting help to you even though they're asking the questions at the same time.
Right. So we understand that when people have emergencies, their stress is high and they get frustrated with some of the questions that we're asking. But it's super important for us to get the information that we're asking so that we can give it to the first responders, because not only is our job to keep the community safe, it's to keep the first responders safe. And they've got to know what is going on, and they've got to know all of the details. If there's a domestic situation, our dispatchers are asking if there's weapons involved, and if you can separate in the house and make sure that you're not elevating the domestic situation. but we also have to let the officers responding know, hey, they're in the kitchen, they got access to knives, and we're trying to get them out of the kitchen kind of thing. So it may seem a lot on the caller's end from what we're asking, but we ask everything for a reason and to keep everybody safe.
And you're going to, specifically because of next week being the big celebration, you're going to be putting out a lot of information, educationally speaking, the history of the center, where you're at now, and what you're looking for in the future. So make sure people understand that you're going to be doing all of these things and to follow you on your Facebook.
Yes, we have a Facebook page, CCOM 911, and we will be posting a lot of really good information over the next week, but we will be pushing out information even after next week to try to build up our followership on the page and share the good works that CCOM's doing. Over the last just over 2 years that I've been in this role, we've had tremendous growth and tremendous progress moving forward with technologies and partnerships, and we'll be very excited to share some of that information on our Facebook page.
Well, Tammy Jo, we thank you for coming and talking to us today, and we thank you for everything that you and your team at CCOM do for our community.
Can I just give a shout out to my team?
Do it.
I am so proud of the people that work at CCOM 911. I thank them for their continued dedication and passion and for their commitment to Cochise County as a whole. So thank you all for all that you do.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas, and our next guest, we've got, Allison from the City of Sierra Vista. You are the Special Events Coordinator.
Yes, good morning. I'm here to talk about the 4th Annual Westfest Street Fair that's going on Saturday in the West End on Fry Boulevard. And we'll be having that street fair between North Avenue and North Garden Avenue, and it'll be running from 12 to 6.
This is one of my favorite events of the year that the city puts on, the Westfest. It's formerly the West End Fair, but now it's Westfest. So kind of tell us, what kind of things are we going to see when we show up tomorrow?
Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to have over 50 local businesses, craft vendors, food trucks out on Fry Boulevard, and we'll also be having local entertainment all day long. We've basically got it broken into 2 sections. We've got the west side in front of the Landmark Cafe. We're going to have 2 great local bands. Our first one from 12 to 2, the Cover Up, and then we've got Triple Shot Band in the afternoon from 3:30 to 6. And in that lull, we want you to come down to the east side of the fair and see DJ Tricks is going to be playing all day as our DJ. And then from 2 to 4, we've got some great local community groups performing. We've got the Sierra Vista Community Theater doing a performance, the Bella Madre Tribal Dance. We've got the Vista Skate Crew coming out, and Desert Thunder. And then we've also got a great chalk art contest being run by our Arts, Humanity, Culture, Diversity Commission. And there's still time to sign up for that, so call the Oscar E. Run Center if you'd like to join in the fun. Chalk is provided, prizes, and we're also going to have 2 professional artists, so lots of fun all day long.
Yeah, the entertainment is amazing at this show as well. Let's talk a little bit about now some of the housekeeping stuff, like what streets are going to be closed, where do you park, where can you get into the fair? Let's talk about that.
Sure. So we will be closing down Fry Boulevard between North Avenue and North Garden Avenue starting at 6 a.m., so please plan accordingly. And we do expect to open the street up about 10 p.m. as soon as we get the whole festival cleaned up. But all the fun is going to be happening between 12 and 6. You can park anywhere around the West End. It's just be mindful of our neighbors there. But there should be plenty of parking for everyone to come out and enjoy. We've got 5 entrances this year into the Westfest, so wherever you park, you should be able to find an easy way in. Just look for some cones and a break in our fence, since we will have the whole area fenced off. There'll be a spot to get in by the Julie and Sammy's parking lot on Fab Ave. Also, on the north side of the street, you can get in by the Cochise County Republican's office and the subway. Baker's Dozen will have an entrance, and as well as the Landmark Plaza.
Well, Allison, we thank you for coming and catching us up on the Westfest tomorrow. We look forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you. It's going to be a great community event, and we look forward to seeing you.
And that's Allison, the Special Events Coordinator for the City of Sierra Vista. Also in the studio, we've got the Salvation Army. Hi, what's your name?
I am Captain Heather.
As
How
if
are you,
we didn't
Grady?
know. You've been on the show like a billion times, haven't you?
Probably a gajillion.
Yeah, that's true. So you've got some things that we want to talk about as well. You've got the Good News Club fundraiser. Let's talk about that.
Yes, so tomorrow at the Salvation Army, the Good News Club will be holding a spaghetti dinner fundraiser, and it's from 4:30 to 6:30. So please come out and help support that event. You know, this club, they go to all of our schools and do after-school programs with our kids at no charge, and so just please come help support them to help support our kids.
And what about Rise Arizona? Tell us about that.
So Rise AZ is going to be on April 26th. We're really, really excited about that. It is a mixture of hip-hop, rap, and heavy metal. So rock groups, and it's going to be from 11 till 10 o'clock. We have Joe Nestor, we've got AC Preach, we've got Spoken, Seventh Day Slumber. Our guest speaker is Brian Head Welsh from Korn, so we're really excited about that. We are still looking for volunteers. Also, if you would like to help donate to this cause, we would love to receive your donation. On Rise AZ, just Google it, and it'll take you right there. Or all over town, there are posters up, and you can go on the QR code, which you can donate as well as sign up to volunteer.
And then also Easter's coming up. So what are you guys doing for Good Friday?
Yes, so we do our bread and broth on Good Friday at 11:30. Where this year we're going to have a prayer walk as well as pray with our friends that would like extra prayer and wash hands and just have a day together and and broth and bread.
Well, Captain Heather, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you, Grady.
And thanks for everything you do at the Salvation Army. We really appreciate it. First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas, and our next guest, it's Jacob from Curious Quails. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on here.
You bet. Well, first of all, we need to start with, what is Curious Quails? What is that all about?
So Curious Quails is a new youth nature program that is under the U of A Cooperative Extension and AZ Health Zone. I know that's a mouthful. I am with their community outreach team. So within that team, I help to lead the Curious Quails initiative, which basically we're just trying to get local youth, local families, local educators, anyone in the community. We want them to come outside, explore nature, have fun, learn, play, and just be immersed in community with us.
That's a great goal to have. And of course, there's got to be benefits for that.
Oh, for sure. Nature, I mean, just stepping outside, there are so many social benefits, so many cognitive, emotional benefits. I mean, I once heard someone on a podcast say it is a lot harder to be sad when you step outside. And I totally agree with that. I mean, nature, just being outdoors, has so many benefits, especially for kids. I mean, they are learning all of the time. So maybe they step outside, they see a bird, they want to know more about that bird. They see a flower, they want to know more about that flower. And if we can do that in our local communities and learn about these local spaces that we have, because Cochise County is beautiful with regards to nature, then we're encouraging that learning every time.
And you have events to do this throughout the year, and one of those is coming up tomorrow. Tell us about that event.
Yes, sir. We will be in Hereford Palominas tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the Palominas Multi-Use Trail, which is just right next to the Palominas Elementary School. So it is a free community event. We're going to have an egg hunt, actually, that is nature-themed. We will have various nature-themed activity stations, like we have a sensory table with, like, toy lizards and toy snakes and fake feathers that kids can just touch. We have real mesquite pods and real pine cones and seeds from local plants that kids can just like touch and feel and mess around with. We have quail coloring sheets and crafting stations, and we are going to do a community walk around the trail. We're not going to walk the whole trail, so we don't want to deter anyone, but we are doing a community walk as well. That will probably start around 9:40 in the morning. And while we do try to reach, youth with all of these activities, we do want everyone and anyone in the community to be able to come out and join us. And we're also going to be having tables from some of our amazing community partners. I know that Cochise County Health and Social Services will be there. The local co-op from McNeil might be there. So yeah, it's sure to be a good time, and that will be tomorrow at 9.
That sounds like a lot of fun. And go ahead and kind of tell us about some of the events that may be coming up in the near future.
Yeah, so including that one, we have 7 events on the calendar for the rest of this year. We will be in Wilcox in 2 weeks at Keeler Park. We've been working with the library and with the city of Wilcox to make that happen. We're also planning to visit Elfrida, Huachuca City, and Douglas. So we are trying to have an event every month. And all of those will kind of follow the same pattern as far as we want to encourage nature play through all these activity stations, through all these tables, and through these community walks.
And so if people want to find out more information about Curious Quails and these upcoming events or tomorrow's event, how can they do that?
So you can find us on social media. We are on both Facebook and Instagram. You could look for the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension pages, or you could find the Curious Quails specific pages at Cochise CQ. Also, if you just look us up on Google, type in Curious Quails, it will pull up those social media pages as well as redirect to a cooperative extension page for us. And if anyone is, looking to get a hold of us as far as how to work with us, you can always also reach out to me via email. That would, I can share that email through messages if you reach out to our social media as well. So.
All right. Well, we hope that everybody will go join your social media because it sounds like you're going to have a lot of fun all year long. So before you go, invite us out to tomorrow's event one more time.
Yes, sir. So that will be at 9 a.m. tomorrow at the Palominas Multi-Use Trail right next to the elementary school. It is a free community event. Everyone is welcome. We're going to have all kinds of nature-themed activities, play, and we just really want to have fun.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. Keep up to date. Follow the Cochise County Sheriff's Office on Facebook. And tune in next Friday, 7 a.m. for First Watch right here on KWCD.